Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today, I got another treat for you guys. I'm not going to give a long introduction of this man, but what I will do is read one of my favorite lyrics from him, which is heartaches. I have my share of heartaches, but I'm still here. Trouble I've seen, my share of trouble, but I'm still here. Bruises, I've taken my lumps and bruises, but I'm still here.
Hmm.
Loneliness, have I had my share of loneliness, but I'm still here. Through it all, I've made it through another day's journey. God kept me here.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Doug Williams, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Otis. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming on the show, blessing us with your presence. We don't take it lightly. We know you could have been doing anything. I know you're in the midst of a tour. Uh,
Yes.
so, um, I told your publicist, I said, let me tell you something what's funny. She said, what's that? I said, I requested Melvin too.
Okay.
I said, I mean, separately, but
Okay.
I said they hadn't got back with me and Melvin. So,
Okay. Okay.
she said,
Well, I'm
well,
happy that we can make this happen with you today.
yeah, well, I had told her, she said, well, you want to do the group? And I said, I would love to interview the group. I said, but what I try to do at first is interview individually. So their interview
Okay.
is their interview because sometimes when you interview a group and you ask you something and then you get to the next person and they'll say, well, just like Doug said, you know,
Right. Exactly. Instead of kind of repeating the same thing over and
yeah, so
over
you don't
again.
really
Yeah.
get that. So
Yeah.
my first question for you is and I'll ask it and then I'll give you some context why I asked the question. But
Okay.
why did you stay singing gospel music? And the reason I asked that question, the context is you and I have both seen different R&B artists who grew up in the church and started out singing in the church, and then they went, singing R&B. So what kept you focused in staying singing gospel music?
Well, gospel music was embedded in our family. My father was a gospel singer. My older brothers, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with Huey Williams,
Yes,
Frank Williams, Jackson Southern Airs. And,
yes.
as a matter of fact, there was another group called the Southern Gospel Singers, which Huey and my oldest brother, Bill, and Frank was in way back in the day. So it was kind of a family tradition. Now, I'm not going to say that we didn't have some opportunities
Right.
to sing R&B because we got offered some contracts from some of the major labels. As a matter of fact, we had a meeting
Hmm.
with Gamble and Huff, and if you're
Okay.
familiar with Gamble
Yeah,
and
out in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia International Music, and during that time, they were one of the big R&B labels. They had the OJs, Harry
Hmm.
Melvin and the Blue Notes, Billy
Yeah.
Paul with me and Mrs. Jones. So they were really big during that time. They invited us to come and meet with them. Of course, my father was still living then, and he was still managing the
Okay.
group. And we met with them and had a great meeting. But um, finally, they said, "Well, what we want you all to do is sing songs that and not include Lord and Jesus in them. They can be those kind of, message type songs, but just don't put Jesus and Lord and God and all that stuff
Okay.
into the songs." And so that was kind of a deal breaker, especially for Pop, my dad. He said, "Well,
I,
no, we sing gospel. We sing gospel music, so we can't sing gospel music and not say Jesus and Lord and God in the song." So
right.
that was probably the closest we ever really came to possibly doing something other than gospel, but it wasn't meant to be. So after that, we was sold on gospel, and this is what God wanted us to do. So this is it.
Amen. It's funny
Yeah.
when you say that because I remember at that time growing up as a young teenager, I think that's what BB and CC was running into. Is
Hmm.
that when the music first came out, it was like, okay, well, we know the brothers Marvin, and we know, okay, so are they? And I remember they used to have them under inspirational music,
Right.
and
Exactly.
so they was
Exactly.
trying to get you guys kind of in that
And,
same
and,
vein.
and yeah, and more inspirational instead of just straight gospel music. And I think we as young men, we were young at the
Mhm.
time, we were more open to it. But Dad said
Yeah,
no,
no,
so
Dad, yeah,
that was the final word. He said no, that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not gonna do it that way. So that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it.
See, I'm in Georgia. You in Mississippi. See, I did fathers in the South when they say no, no is no. Like
That no means no. That's
no,
it.
yeah, we not even discussing it. I
Oh
said
no,
no.
it's not up for discussion. We're not doing that.
You segue beautifully in my next question, which was, how did your mother and father shape you and your brothers on your journey as you were, like you said, the record labels, you were making noise, the record labels was after you guys. How did they shape you guys to stay connected to what how they raised you guys to be?
Well, the thing of it is, we were brought up in the church.
Hmm.
My mother and father were strict about going to church. That was another thing that wasn't an option. You know, like a lot
Hmm.
of children, a lot of kids today, they said, "Well, I don't feel like going to church. I'm not going to church today." And the parents would tell them, "Okay, well, you just stay at home and we'll go to church." But that wasn't an option when we
Hmm.
were coming up. You
No.
know, everybody in the house was going to church on Sunday. That was it, and we were brought up that way, so that was instilled in us, just to love the Lord, and sing gospel, and that just became in our bloodline, man. It became a part of us, and they kept us on the right track. I mean, my father was strict. He didn't play around. You know, when he laid down the law, that was the law, and you had to walk that way, and talk that way, and live that way. And
Okay.
there were certain things that he wasn't going to put up with. So hey, we just grew up with that in us, man. So it became a part of us.
Who since you said that, and your father was a disciplinary, who who what time? I didn't even have this as a question, but I gotta ask since you said what you
Okay.
just said. Who who did? Can you tell me somebody did something? The, my accent or whatever got in trouble, and then y'all just started pointing. Everybody just started pointing. Like I didn't do that. That Doug did that. Melvin
All
did that.
right.
Frank did.
Right. Well, Melvin was the one that always kind of butt heads sometimes with my dad because they were so much alike. You know,
Right.
my dad was a kind of a strict person, and of course Melvin kind of picked up a lot of his traits, but so then they would kind of bump heads sometimes. But we would always kind of lay back, and the pop would get mad with Melvin and threaten him and do all kind of stuff, but he wasn't gonna hurt him.
Right.
But he wanted him to know that what he said, that was the final say when it came to the group, and to what we were going to do. So it was Melvin was a guy that kind of got in trouble from time to time.
I had my father was strict like that. I remember Doug one time I wrecked the car and I wanted to run away from home so bad, but I ain't had nowhere to go. You know,
Okay,
and
okay.
you ever tell your parents something and they don't believe you, but they say one thing that you ask you a question you can't answer, which is you think I'm stupid, don't you? And you know
Right,
you can't answer that.
right, exactly. You cannot answer that and stand up and walk right.
Right. You want to say, well, it'll help if you
Right, right, exactly, exactly. Well, we were just brought up to respect uh,
Sure.
our elders, respect
Sure.
our parents,
Yes.
anybody older than us, all the people in the neighborhood. We were just brought
Mhm.
up to respect the people that was older than we were, and that's so missing now in today's
Yeah.
society,
Yeah.
where the young people have no respect. A lot of the young people have no respect for anybody. They don't respect their parents, their grandparents, and nobody else. Their teachers or the instructors, whatever. They have no respect. So, but we were taught to just have respect for people who are in authority and people who are
Yes.
older than you. You know, you don't talk
Yes.
back to older people. That was a no
No.
no.
That
You
was a
didn't
no
do
no.
that. Yeah.
That was no. You're right. I was raised the exact same way. Um, how did your older brothers? How did Frank and Melvin shape you far as personally and musically? Far as because you didn't have to look far. I mean, you could have, but you didn't have to look far for inspirational singers. You had them in your family. How did those two have a shaping on you as a vocalist?
Well, they all had a had some type of an effect on me. My older brother Huey, the lead singer for the Jackson Southern Airs,
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch him a lot, and of course Frank was my mentor. I grew up watching him, listening to him, and he was such I would call him a gentle giant. He was kind of quiet in his own way, but he was so uh, knowledgeable about so many things, and so I listened to him and watched him and how he carried himself, and in such a respectful way. And that's I think that's one of the reasons people loved him and respected him so, because of the way he carried himself. And vocally, we learn from each other. We learn from each other. But I got to be honest with you,
Uh,
even though we didn't have our father wouldn't allow us to listen to a lot of R&B music in the house,
mm-hmm.
but
In the
I
house.
was I was in the house, yes. At least not while he was there.
Right, right.
But I was heavily influenced. One of my favorite singers of all time, if not my favorite singer of all time, is Donny Hathaway.
Okay,
And I learned an awful lot about delivery and how to sing a song from listening to Donny Hathaway, and then of course people like Johnny Taylor, Aretha
okay,
Franklin.
okay.
I learned a lot from just how to sing a song from people like that. So
How to deliver it, how
how
to
to
make it.
deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny.
exactly.
It's funny because I discovered your brother. I discovered Frank by listening to James Moore.
Okay, okay.
I
Wow.
can't think of the song, and Frank is on the song. I just can't remember the song. And you know
Right.
how James would get into to ad libbing, and
Yeah,
he and he
yeah.
and he called his name. He said Frank,
Hmm.
and then your brother took the mic,
Yeah, man.
and I was sitting like, who is this? Who is this? Because it
Yeah.
it went up another level. I mean, you know for yourself, late great James Moore was a
James
bad boy
Moore.
himself.
He was
Yeah,
awesome, man. And the range, he had the range and Frank had the range. Those guys could get on up in the
they
sky
can.
singing,
Yeah, they
man.
go. They go something
Yeah.
like, I need y'all to come back down.
Right. I
I,
can't go up there with y'all. Y'all gotta come
come
back down here so I can get with you.
okay, or at least let me start the song off.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You all can take it from there. But yeah, those guys had some amazing range, and yeah, Frank he was awesome, man. Awesome singer, awesome producer, songwriter. He did it all. And musician.
Talk to
Yes.
me about the one of your classic songs. I'm just a nobody.
Mm,
I love the lyrics because when you think about it, and let me know if this was you guys' intent. I mean, I remember watching the video, but it seemed like the song was more like, like I'm not trying to come off like, I'm bishop or pastor so and so. All that. It's just I'm a nobody trying to
hmm.
tell somebody
Right. Yeah,
about a
that
man that.
song.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a song that was written by Melvin and my brother Leonard and myself. The three of us wrote it together.
Hmm.
And we wanted that song to portray something that people could relate to,
Hmm.
because there are a lot of people in this world that feel downhearted and downtrodden, and feel like they have no hope. But we said, the song basically talked about a man who talked about, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who could save anybody.
Anybody.
So,
Yeah.
everybody has a chance, everybody has hope. And you don't have to feel like a nobody, because we are all somebody in God's sight. But that person, the story that we're telling in the song, that person felt like a nobody, but
Right.
he really wasn't a nobody. Then he sung, he said, "I'm just a nobody," but in God's eyes, everybody is somebody.
And
Yeah.
I love it because that gives us all the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that I can tell somebody, I mean, I can tell everybody about somebody that can
Somebody who
save
could save
anybody.
anybody.
So
Yeah,
you don't have to be a world renowned minister or whatever. If you
exactly.
know him,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
tell
exactly.
somebody.
You can tell everybody that you meet about somebody who can save anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
Thank
And
you.
I tell you another thing that I love about you guys is that just like me, because I love my Southern people. So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So um,
Hey, we Mississippi all the way,
right,
man.
right. See, that's what I'm saying. See that
Yeah,
the your delivery, the way you guys sing, I love that. Is some people say just country folk.
yeah,
And,
there it
and
is. There it is.
but what I loved about it, you guys weren't trying to be anybody else.
Right, right. Well, I thank God that God gave us something that was a little bit different from anybody else.
Hmm.
When we started out, we didn't want to be like just like anybody else. We wanted to, create our own sound, our own style, and God really blessed us to be able to do that. We wrote most of the material that we sung and arranged it, and we wrote and arranged the way that we were feeling about things, and
Gotcha.
not the way somebody else was feeling about it.
Right.
So, and that came across in the songs, and that in that we were able to create a sound and a style that became the Williams Brothers sound and style over the course of the years. So we thank God for that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the lyrics I was reading for "Still Here." When I watched that video of you guys, but more so you, um, it seemed like a testimony song that you were like you've been through some things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because I can see it on your face, especially you was talking, I've been lied on, um just you took your bumps. It's like you're letting the world know, um yeah, we saying gospel, but it ain't always peaches and cream,
Oh man, no sir, not at all, not at all. But that is a testimony for me. Still here, and it's amazing. I've had so many people from across the country
Hmm.
and other parts of the world have sent me messages or letters or call and said, "Man, you must have wrote that song for me because that song, I can relate to that song because of the things that I've been through." But yes, that song. I got up early one morning. I was actually in the bathroom. Getting dressed, shaving, brushing my teeth,
Hmm.
and this melody just started to come to me about I'm still here, I'm still here. Heartaches. I've had my share of heartaches, but I'm still here. And from that, it just started to come together. God started to pour it into me, and for that particular album, actually, that was the last song that was brought to the table when we were preparing and rehearsing for the Still Here record.
Hmm.
That was the last song that I introduced to the group. So it almost didn't make it on the record.
Oh man.
Yeah, but once the guys heard it and we started rehearsing on it, then everybody just felt like, man, this is a powerful song. And we've all been through some things. Everybody has had some experiences, um, some trials, some tribulations, some heartaches, some ups, some downs.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you feel good, other times you don't feel so good. And but through it all, you made it through. And that's the thing about it. You're still here. And you can and your whatever you've been through can become a testimony for you. And even today, that song even has even more so of a meaning to me because of some of the things I've gone through since I recorded that song. I've had cancer, I've had different things that happened to me. I had a tennis ball sized tumor in my throat area that I had to have removed, and I thought I wouldn't be able to sing again. For almost 4 months, I didn't sing at all, and
Wow.
I was wondering if I'd ever be able to sing again. But just to show you how God works, man. After sitting at home for about 3.5 months, we get a call from Aretha Franklin
Okay.
asking us to come and sing at the White House with her for President Barack Obama. So the first time I
Wow.
sung again, after sitting at home for 3 months, wondering if I'd ever be able to sing again, I was singing at the White House for President Barack Obama with Aretha Franklin. Just to show you how God works. So that testimony alone just said, "Look, I'm still here. The
I'm
devil might
still
have
here.
he may have tried to take me out, but I'm hanging in there. I'm still here."
The beautiful, yeah, and that's the other thing about that. You said another day. You didn't say another week. You wasn't skipping to next year. That
Oh
you just
no,
said
no.
another day, just
I made it through another
another
day's
day's
journey.
journey.
I'm still
That's
here.
That's
Yes.
powerful because I
Yeah.
think sometimes I know sometimes in my prayer, I get conscious. I say, man, I keep asking God for this, that, and the other. And I say, let me just thank him.
Thank
Just,
God for
just,
another day, man. Yeah.
yeah, just the fact that my wife is here, my kids, my
Yeah.
grandkids, just everything. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
sometimes we trying to get so caught up in other things, and not saying we don't need to pray about those things or on those
Right.
things, but
Right.
sometimes it's just important to just say, man, thank you. Just
Yeah, man. Just when you wake up in the morning, man, and you realize that you're still in your right mind, that's big right there, just to be in your right mind and to be breathing and can get up out of bed and move and walk or go to the bathroom, whatever you got to do. That's enough to just say, Lord, I thank you. Lord, I thank you. My family's okay. My kids, my
yeah.
children doing all right. Man, I thank you. I'm grateful. I don't have anything to complain about. Yeah.
Do you get because you know, we both just had birthdays. Do you sometimes when it comes to birthdays or holidays, you know, like Christmas or something, and
Mhm.
it's almost like it's cool to get gifts, but it's just you get to a place where you like, man, I'm just thankful I can count all my loved ones, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's
But I,
my gift. That's my gift.
right, right. Well, I tell my wife all the time. I know she's big on birthdays, and
Hmm.
I said, well, I'm happy that God have blessed me to see another year. If I don't get a gift or if I don't get anything, I'm grateful to be alive to see another year. So I don't have to get anything. That's my gift, just to be able to witness going into a new year for me. So another chapter in my life. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I said, well, that's a far cry from being a little kid.
Oh yeah.
A little
Well,
kid.
we have a tendency sometimes as human beings to get caught up in material things. We like the material things. We like the nice gifts,
Right,
the cars, the watches, whatever it may be. But
right.
in the long run, those things are just material things, and
Okay,
they don't have much value. The life itself has the value,
correct.
and your family, being able to enjoy your family. That's where the real value comes in. And these material things have very little value at the end of the day.
And they not going with you.
No, when you leave here, somebody else will be fighting over those things. So,
Somebody be fighting over. What challenges did you face leaving BlackBerry BlackBerry record label and then starting your own label DLW Music? What was that challenge like for you?
well, I had been the president of BlackBerry Records for 20, 27, 28 years.
Right.
And at that point, I retired from that position, and I didn't really have um, a desire to go into that business side of it again, not in that aspect anyway. So once I
Right.
retired from BlackBerry, even though I missed it, and we had some great times, we created some great music with some great artists
Mm-hmm.
on the label. But I felt like it was time to it comes a point where you know it's time to let it go.
Right.
So at that point, I thought I was actually done with the ownership and um, being the head of a record label. But God said something different, man. I was sitting at home during the pandemic in
Right.
2020, and God spoke to me and said it's time to start your own label. And I was reluctant. I was reluctant at first because I didn't have a desire to do that.
You're
I
like,
said,
you talking to
okay,
me?
yeah, God, but now it's me or somebody else you dealing with here? Because I thought I was done with that, but and it just kept on getting stronger in my spirit, and I started to really write a lot of songs. Man, I was sitting at home, when the pandemic first started in
Right.
2020.
Right.
Nobody was going anywhere. Nobody was doing anything. A lot of people sitting at home, and I was one of those people because all the concerts had been canceled and
Correct.
studio studio stuff had been canceled. So we were just at home, sitting at home. They were telling you not to go anywhere. So I sat at home and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. I just kept writing songs, just kept coming to me, pouring into my spirit. I said, well, yeah, maybe it is time for me to try to do something with some of this music that's coming to me. So eventually I decided to go ahead and start my own label, DLW Music Group. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm going to take it real slow.
Mm-hmm.
one step at a time. I'm not trying to do anything too big, too fast. I just want to kind of take it on a slow pace and just follow God's leadership, man. Wherever He leads me, that's where I want to go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Um, just have three more questions.
Okay.
Um, where where is the challenge for you when you've lost family members as you have, um, like you said, battling cancer, but you still got to minister to the people through song.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what? Can you the people that will see this? Can you talk about the challenges of that? Because sometimes it's like you looking at God like you want me to give a word to somebody else. I need a word. You over here.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's wrong?
It becomes. I guess for me,
Hmm.
every experience becomes a testimony.
Okay.
Because we go through things for a reason. There's a reason, there's a purpose that God allows us to go through things. He allows things to happen in our lives. And we have to look at it from that standpoint because if we get really down because of everything that happened to us, then we're gonna be
True.
down a lot. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. That's
So
true.
I try to look at it maybe differently from some people do, even though if you lose a loved one, it's gonna hurt. Somebody you love.
Yes.
And just earlier this year, I lost one of my sisters who passed away in March.
Mm,
And of course, my mother a few years ago, my
you're right.
brother Frank, my father,
Hmm.
and different ones in the family. And niece Melvin's daughter passed away a few years ago. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so we've had some tragedy. We've had some death, some bereavement go on in the family, and it's a hurting thing. But I really try to, as much as possible, keep a positive attitude
Hmm.
about it, knowing that God does not make mistakes. There's a reason,
Gotcha.
there's a purpose that He allowed these things to happen. And sometimes our faith is tested, our strength is tested, our
Yeah.
will is tested.
Yeah.
But man, sometimes you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
Yeah.
have those days like, I don't even feel like getting out of bed today. I don't feel up to it, but I I try not to stay in those moments too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you stay there too long, then it'll start to really take an effect on you.
Sure.
So I pray about it. I find strength. I try to reach deep down inside, man, and dig in there and find that faith that I've been dealing with all these years and that trust in God. And Lord, I need your help to pull me through this. And I want to stand and be a witness that regardless of what I'm going through,
Right.
I know you're still there with me. You will never leave me. You will never forsake me. You never turn your back on me. So that's that. So I try to use it more or less as a testimony, and it's a challenge sometimes. But overall, I use it as a testimony.
It's funny you say that because I it took me I always tell people it took me 52 years
Hmm.
to you use the word faith, and I said it took me to really understand what that is.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of times we have faith, God gonna do it, God, but what we really want to know, or what we really need to have faith is the plan, that He doesn't give us the whole plan. Like
Right. Right.
it's the process, because sometimes you be looking at God like, you sure you know what you're doing? You don't
Well.
look like you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Yeah,
right to me. Eh,
sometimes you'll be wondering, God, are you hearing me? Are you hearing the
Are you
prayer?
here?
I'm
Right.
talking to you. I'm calling out to you. I'm
You ain't
crying out to
said
you.
nothing. You ain't said
Well,
nothing back.
sometimes God get quiet on you, man, and you be wondering, are you hearing me? But he's listening. He's
Well,
definitely listening.
you know, somebody set me free on that, and it was the late great Bishop, what is his name, from was from Jamaica. Uh,
Oh,
um,
yes, I know exactly who you're talking
you know,
about.
you know what I'm talking. I can't
I
think of his
do. I
name.
do. Yeah.
He said when you were
Was
in
it
class,
Miles Monroe?
Miles Monroe, Miles
Miles Monroe.
Monroe.
Yes. Yes.
He said when you're in class, right, and you take a test. He said, remember when you was in school, you took a test,
Mhm.
teacher didn't talk.
Right. Right.
The teacher didn't talk. The teacher don't
Oh
say
no.
nothing when you taking the test. The
Right.
teacher said, that's how the father is. We're going
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
test, taking the test. Father don't talk.
Yeah.
Father,
You got.
father ain't talking when we taking the test. I said,
He's he's testing you at that point. You know what I
right.
mean?
That's why it's a test.
Yeah, it's a test, right?
Can't be talking to you on the test.
Sometimes that test is just to see what your level of faith is in
Correct.
him.
Correct.
How much do you really believe in me? Is God saying? How much do you really trust me? How much faith do you have in me? How much do you really believe in what the promises that I made to you?
Right.
So I'm gonna put you through this test. I'm gonna allow you to go through this test to see how strong is your faith? How
That's
strong is
true.
your belief? How much do you really trust me
Or,
to do what I said I'm going to do?
or are you just
Okay.
talking? Are you just are you just
It's just a good talk, you know. And
eh,
a lot of people have that good talk, but when it comes right down to the nitty gritty, they
ooh.
lose their faith. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They don't have that will. Like I just can't do it. I can't. Well, yes, you can do it. God said you could do it, but you can. That means you can do it.
Then
Yeah,
we can do it. Yeah.
yeah.
How's the farewell tour going?
The farewell tour is going well. We took a break from it. We did about 6, 7 months last year, and we're just getting ready to kick it back off again. We want to take a break. We're not trying to do um, like we used to do because we're not the young.
Okay, I don't
It's just that
blame you.
we're not the young bucks we used to be, man. So we want to do it in a way that is comfortable for us because we're doing like 23, 24 songs, sometimes 25 songs a night, where
Ooh,
we're doing like 2 hours, 2.5 hours nonstop straight. So we
yeah,
can't
that's
do that.
taxing.
We
Yeah,
can't do that night after night after night. We gotta
nah,
kind of space it out to
gotta
do
space that out. Yeah,
it.
like I got to go home.
You gotta go home and rest up a little bit and get ready to do it again. So but what we're trying to do, it's called the Williams Brothers Farewell Nothing But the Hits Tour,
Hmm.
and we're singing all of the songs, man, from the very beginning in 1973 on up until the very latest material that we've done. So, and we're trying to give the people a little bit of everything that we've done. From Jesus Will Fix It, Jesus Will Never Say No, Holding On, I Won't Let Go of My Faith, Mama Prayed for Me, and the list
Yeah,
goes on. You'll sweep around your own front door. I'm just a nobody. The GOAT. We're doing all of it, man. Living Testimony, Still Here, Cool in the Water.
cooling. Ooh,
We're
boy.
doing it all, man. Ooh, we another blessing. So we're giving it all to the people, man.
I
So,
need you to make a revision because I was talking to you people earlier. I got mad. I got mad. I
okay.
I didn't see none by the line on that. I ain't see none. Y'all, come on. You got to come to the ATL. Come on.
Well, you know, I think it's still in the works that we may be coming to the ATL before the tour is over. So,
What church you need me to call? What church you need me to call to
oh
hold
man,
y'all?
call all of them. Call all.
Okay, because because you can't have y'all can't you all can't have no small intimate venue. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna
Oh
work.
man,
It's
wow.
too many people because y'all have the people want y'all to go outside and sing, so we're not gonna be able to do that. But
I might need to reach out to Bishop Morton or somebody over there, Bishop Paul Morton or somebody in the ATL.
Paul Moore, you got
Oh
what
man.
that Pastor Dewey,
Yeah, he do his Smith. I've been there, so oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
got it,
y'all got
man.
to come to the A, man. Y'all got to because
Okay.
I was never blessed to, far see you guys live. And one thing I do know about my city is that like in well, you know this for yourself, and not just my city, but a lot of different cities where we used to see you guys, the John P. Keys, the Daryl Cole, like we
Oh
used to
yeah.
see, and then somewhere it kind of like, man, where everybody at?
Right, right.
What? And I
It,
understand sometimes God is taking you guys in different directions of what
yeah,
they
yeah.
want you to do, but we just miss those gospel concerts like it used to be back in the day.
Well, back in the day, man, you know, ATL, I got to say that Atlanta has been very good to the Williams Brothers over the years. One of the very first big concerts that we did, we came there in the early 70s with Reverend James Cleveland and Shirley
Okay,
Caesar. And we
okay,
opened for Reverend James Cleveland. And this was when Jesus Will Fix It first came out in
right.
73. So we was just so excited, man, because we'd never been on a concert quite like that. So it kind of started right there in Atlanta, man. And then over the years, Brother Esmond Patterson, I'm sure you're familiar with Brother Esmond Patterson.
Yes.
We used to come and do his anniversary every year, man, and it was big. He'd have it at the Civic Center, and it would be jam packed every year, man. So we we've had a lot of experience and a lot of relationship there in Atlanta, man. So we
Tell them
could
they got to put that for the farewell tour. They got
we
to put
gotta get this farewell tour in the
we
ATL.
got to
Yes,
get the
sir.
ATL. Rest up first though. You know
Hell yeah.
however y'all flowing. But my last question for you is very simple. I know Mr. Williams. I know everybody think you just pray 24 hours, 7 days a week. I know people think you go to church 24 hours, 7 days a week. But when you're not singing, when you know, just what do you like to do for fun?
But man, I'm a huge football fan. I'll tell
Okay,
you that. I love the NFL and I love college sports as well.
okay.
And but I'm a huge NFL fan and NBA. I love the NBA, and of course I like going to the beach. My wife and I we like to hang out on the beach and take little vacations and do kind of get away from everything. But when NFL season starts, that's it for me, man. I'm in the TV.
Same here. I tell
I'm
people, you
in the
know where to
TV,
find me.
guy.
I tell you know where to find
Yes, sir.
me.
There's no question about it. If I got some downtime, I'm going to be watching the NFL game for
Who your
sure.
team? Who your teams?
Oh man, you might not want to know. You might not
No,
want
go ahead,
to know.
go ahead.
Well, I have two teams that
Okay.
I have a favorite team in the East, the NFC, and one in the AFC. So
Oh,
my
you a
NFC
cowboy.
team is the Dallas
I
Cowboys,
knew you
man.
was gonna. Only reason I figured you was gonna say because you said you don't want to know.
You didn't want to know the Dallas Cowboys is my NFC team. The Pittsburgh Steelers,
Okay.
my AFC team. So
And
um,
I'm your rivalry. I'm your rivalry.
okay, who you got down?
There's the Cowboy. If you say Cowboy, there's only other one rivalry. And that's Washington.
Or that the Commanders?
Commanders. Because growing up,
Oh
you know,
man,
in those times, a lot of times the Falcons were not
yeah,
televised. They were showing why.
right,
And the
right.
first helmet my dad ever bought me as a little boy was a Washington
Oh
helmet.
really,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah. And
Now,
it just kind of stuck. And I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. But after that, that's pretty much well. I do root for the Braves, but the Falcons will kill you. You can't root for the Falcons. The Falcons will have
oh
you
man,
out.
they
The
break your
Falcons will
heart,
have,
huh?
they had you out of here. Well, you end up dying waiting on the Falcons to do something.
Oh my God. Well, the Cowboys are almost the same way, man. It's like we almost there every year, and then okay, oh wow, here we go again. We're out of the playoffs. But I'm a Washington fan too for several reasons. Doug Williams
I
is a personal
interviewed him
friend of
too.
mine, and he's
Oh,
still he's in the head office up
in the
there.
head office, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing things with Washington Commanders. So I do root for Washington because Doug and I we communicate from time. The two Doug Williams we
I was
communicate.
about to, you know what? It's funny that you say that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because every time I get ready to end my show, I always let the guests know, hey, I want to bring you back. And of course, when I bring people back, I like to partner them with someone, and
Okay,
that was the person because I interviewed him like 2 years ago. So
you did really.
yeah, had a
Okay.
great had a great time. We talked about and the reporter asked him how long he been a black quarterback, and we st- we started we started laughing, and of course he gave some great insight. So yeah, I would love to bring you back and have you on with Doug and somebody else.
Oh, that would
Uh,
be awesome.
Okay, when your schedule, permits, because I know y'all
Okay.
doing the tour and
Yeah.
everything. But I'm gonna try.
Actually, his favorite gospel song. Well, I know one of his favorite gospel
Hmm.
songs. He tells me all the time is "I'm a Living Testimony." He loved that song.
Okay,
He loves "I'm a Living Testimony." So
is
yeah.
there anybody open up for you guys or?
Not in particular, it's just some different ones in the different markets that we're going in.
Okay.
Yeah, but nobody just on the tour with us the whole time.
Only
So
reason I asked is you said you doing 24 songs, so I thought y'all was just coming right out.
in some cases we are.
Yeah, they coming. Right.
if somebody's opening, they're only gonna do just a few minutes, and then we come on out there, man, and
They
we
just gonna do an A selection. Go on, sit down now.
yeah, well, okay, maybe a B, maybe throw a B
Maybe
in there.
we do an A and B selection.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, blessing us with your presence. I am following you on all your social media platforms.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
We'll, like I said, we'll bring you back on when your schedule permits. Stay safe, stay blessed, and Mr. Williams, we love you.
Love you too, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure to be on with you today.
Peace.
God bless you.